I'm here in the Milwood neighborhood of Austin, Texas, and I was here touring with a client, and we saw this little gem of a home and said, you know what, I might as well show y'all too. If you haven't been to my channel, I'm Ian of Austin, and this home is really cool for so many reasons. Primarily the floor plan. First, before we go in, let's take a step back and take a look. Obviously the roof seems like it's been updated recently. It seems like it's been modernized a little bit. They've got some paint that they've done on the outside of it. Looks like they've replaced the door. There are lots of little things that they've taken care of. And I've toured lots of homes, especially in the last couple of weeks, that just, they haven't taken care for anything. And so it's always a surprise when you see something that's even moderately taken care of, because we have so many homes on the market right now. So like another thing that's kind of fun is I like that there's character. Because of the year of the home in neighborhoods like this, homes aren't, they don't all look exactly the same. And some people like that, some people don't. But this particular one, even like the little wall sconces, the garage sconces where they've got, it looks like a dog bowl almost. And they just put a light in there, and you know, the colors and the paint. Now it needs to be touched up. It's been a minute since they've done this, but that's an easy fix. Same with the wood here. You stain it a little bit, probably replace the bottom boards. It's a nice, easy to move in, easy to update house in the Milwood area in Austin, Texas. And for those of you that know Austin, it's a great area north of the city, not far from the Domain, and perfect for people who work for Apple or Samsung or Dell or one of those companies, Facebook, Meta, Indeed, just all these companies that are north of the river, right? Okay, so a couple things. Let's talk about, I like when doors have light like this. That's some people love it, some people don't. I just walked through the whole house, so I'm gonna stop and kind of turn a little bit and show you the laundry room. So we've got our laundry right here. So you'd put your laundry here, and then you have your water heater, which is gas appliances in this home, by the way. So you have a gas water heater, which if you haven't lived in Texas, oftentimes gas ends up being more cost effective than electric when it comes to utilities. And so people really like that. Or, you know, you have people that swear by gas ovens if they cook a lot, your utility, your panel. Then you've got your attic access right here. And I'm gonna start off showing you the garage real quick. Just, might as well go in, 2-car garage, nothing fancy, fake epoxy. You got all that in there. I keep it real, Okay, so now we're gonna go into the kitchen. So you can see appliances that convey. Obviously we're in Texas, and so usually the oven, the dishwasher, and the microwave, if it's built in, will convey, but also the fridge. So in this situation, I'd imagine that the fridge conveys. Easy question to ask the seller if we're doing that. If you're submitting an offer. I like the butcher block with the black, or the faux butcher block or whatever with the black. I think it would be cool if it had an overhang here. That would be really nice. My client and I were talking about that, and I said, we can do a leaflet, and she goes, that's old. And I was like, everything that's current is actually old, right? That's just how the way the world works. I like that they tiled all the way to the top, and these recessed lights. I did a short on Instagram at Ian of Austin and on TikTok, and it was talking about how many lights. There are at least 35 recessed lights in this home. They just went ham. They said, I'm gonna put recessed lights all over this place. And it's cool because they actually have it where it's aesthetically or symmetrical. They don't always do symmetrical. So I'm a fan of that. Except for this one that's supposed to be pointing down at the fireplace mantle. Speaking of gas fireplace, this would be a nice thing to just paint, change up a little bit. So yeah, gas fireplace, you wouldn't have to deal with real wood. This is all fake. I don't know why they have the little, I don't know if that's kindling, but it looks like like it could be asbestos or something. It's like, why is that there? I like the corner window. I think that's always a cool thing to see. This thing sticks. We'll talk about that in a second. Nice large windows here. Fairly updated considering the build year of the home. I love the vaulted ceilings. I think that's one of those things that just adds some character where character's usually needed. So many homes these days, especially new construction, are just flat top. And we went from 8-foot ceilings to 9-foot ceilings to 10-foot ceilings. And don't get me wrong, there are some that you walk into and they have 20-foot ceilings, but that's not everybody. Your standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath has flat ceilings in a lot of the suburban areas. So it's nice that this one in the city proper has the, probably because of the year built, but has the vault. in it. Okay, so let's take a look over here. Coat closet, pretty standard. Your first bathroom right here. And notice they replaced the mirror and the cabinets, and they retiled and they added tile. They didn't go all the way to the top. It's so crazy because as I'm talking to my client, she didn't like that. She liked that it wasn't all the way to the top. I think that's completely a preference. Some people love it all the way to the top, some don't. It's also a fairly shallow mount tub, so if anybody has ADA needs, this might be an easy conversion for you. First bedroom over here to the right. This one is small compared to the others, but at least it has a walk-in closet. It's missing a fan, but it looks like, another recessed light, but it looks like it'd be easy enough to, nope, I don't know. I don't think it would be easy enough to add. It's probably not braced, which is why they may not have done it. Next in here is your second bedroom. This one's a little bit larger. I would say probably, 100 square feet larger than the small room. 100 square feet? I don't know, I didn't do the math. But it's, let's see, you tell me. What do you think? Look over here, look over here, look over here. Okay, 40 square feet, as I'm doing the mental math. 40 square feet larger than the other room. And then we're gonna come in here, and this is your HVAC unit. I'm showing it to you because then you can kind of get an eye for what it looks like. And then here's our primary. We're not allowed to say anything's new. I don't know if you know that, but realtors are not allowed to say this is new because the moment that it's put in, it's no longer new. And so that's actually an illegal thing to say. There's nothing that's new unless the house has not been lived in. So this is our primary bedroom. You've got two separate closets for the different partners. It looks like the carpet has been replaced mostly fairly recently. I can't tell when it was replaced, but I can tell you that it seems fresh. So newer, not brand new. Nothing's brand new. And then same with the double vanities here and the tile for the bathroom. And mostly it's a fairly simple renovation and it looks clean. There are little things that I have a problem with. So like an example is, obviously whenever somebody leaves a space here, I was like, well, why wouldn't you put another cabinet or something here? You've got the towel rack on the opposite side from where the shower is. Like, how are you supposed to reach around and grab a towel from there? Also, there's no glass or anything for that, which I guess I'm okay with, especially being shallow and right next to the toilet. There is a door for this though. Sometimes you'll buy new construction or you'll buy some type of older homes or renovations and they call it modern, but then they just don't put a door. And you're like, yeah, but I just, I don't care if I'm single or married or just have in a relationship, maybe I don't want them to hear me on the toilet, if I'm in the bedroom. Put a door. Come on. Also, more recessed lights because they don't have a light on the fan, but it's fine. At least they compensated by providing light. It looks like all the outlets have been updated throughout the house versus having those dingy yellow outlet plates and outlets. These absolutely look modern and flat. Same with all the switches seem to have been updated. Fresh coat of paint everywhere. You can see there was still some coaxial and maybe a block. Yeah, they blocked that. All right, what else do we need to see? I guess we need to see the backyard too, right? Let's look at the backyard. Oh, Nest thermostat, so they updated that. There's a motion sensor over on the wall. This is kind of a good space for a live. Okay, this is killing me. I have had such a hard time getting in and out of this door. Also, if you're ever selling a home, if you're ever listing your home, especially if I'm the one listing it for you, I'm gonna whine every time about there being like wasps and bugs and stuff like, look at this. Look, they're just hanging out. And I didn't even get to show you in the other bedroom. They're right above the window. Like that's the kind of stuff that people will see that and immediately it's a turnoff for their home, for your home that you're trying to sell. Like lights, brightness, and then bugs. Those are the things, right? The big things. Yeah, lights, brightness, and bugs. Okay, so here, I wanted to show you, it looks like the roof has been replaced fairly recently for this home, and there are no gutters, and you look next to them, there's no gutters, but then you look over on this side, and there are gutters. That's one of those things that we really like to focus on protecting our foundations here in Texas, so we need a little bit of moisture, but we also don't want sitting water, and so having gutters kind of helps prevent that. But that's one of those things where you talk to your inspector, your agent, if you have an engineer or a designer or anybody like that come out, then you can have them, you can have that conversation with them. good sized yard. And I like that there's nothing behind, or at least not another house behind. And I don't think there will be. I'm assuming that's protected land for the city. I'd have to look on the zoning map for it, but yeah, or the parcel map for it and see how it's zoned. This could be a great spot. If it's zoned SF3, this could be a great spot to add an ADU, right? It would be somebody, I would imagine it's somebody that lived with you, or like somebody that you're close with, not just for a rental or anything like that. I mean, I guess you could, but just the access isn't as easy, right? Nice large trees, and you still have some space if you wanted to put a pool or something like that. Like I said, an ADU. It's a really cool layout. It's a good sized yard. Again, it's just a gem of a house. It's just under 1,500 square feet, but it's priced accordingly, had a recent price adjustment. And if the market wasn't what it was, right now we're in such a buyer's market. If the market wasn't what it was, this house would have gone day 1 or 2. Like, it really is. Again, you got to realize, as an agent, look at this sticking. Come on. All right. As an agent, I probably see no less than 20 houses a week. And I think people forget that. They're like, well, I don't need an agent because I'm buying a house and I've bought 5 houses. It's like, okay, I've helped, hundreds of people buy houses, and I've gone with them to many of them. I've done new construction, resale, all that sort of stuff. So I've seen way more. So have our lenders, so have our title companies and people that are involved a lot of times, maybe not always, but builders. So look at it. See, look at this, just hanging out. And I came from the outside in instead of trying to show you, or from the inside out instead of trying to show you from the outside, because I don't feel like getting stung today. So yeah, let me know what you think. Once again, I go by Ian of Austin everywhere on the internet. You can check out homes on ianofAustin.com. And if you like this shirt, it'll be linked in the description below. Yes, that's me right here. I don't know if you've seen that before, but I have a bunch of shirts that kind of help support the channel. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.